Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. 3 Kingdoms. Starting with a list of the top 10 commanders, the Heavenly Descent Gold List rewards all those who make it. At the beginning, we conducted a list of the top 30 commanders with the highest command abilities in the world. Yu Jin ranked 30th on the list of peak commanders. Throughout his life, he followed Cao Cao in numerous battles to the south and north, but unfortunately, he encountered the Battle of Xiangfan and the evening scenery was desolate. Huang Gai. Lord, please whip me. Cao Ren. Strengthen the walls and clear the fields, defeat the enemy's sharpness, turn defense into attack, and win by surprise. Zhang Liao. The child is famous for stopping crying, and the grandson should not lose 100,000 yuan. Zhou Yu. Listen, Meng, this soul-calming song dedicated to you. Zhu Yu said, White Horse, you must call him, never come back. Yu Jin said, I will end up in Yu Jin. May I be loyal to the Cao family for generations. De Bao. Those who invade our territory of De Wu will surely be defeated when they are strong. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Creating the Peak Commander ranking at the beginning. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 196 AD. In the first year of Jian, and Cao Cao welcomed Lu Xia into Xuchang and officially entered the period of holding the emperor hostage to command the feudal lords. And at this moment, around Cao Cao, there were many forces of all sizes. Arms like Yuan Mishui, Lv Bu, Liu Bei, Li Ju, Guasi, Zhang Xiu, etc., each one is not considered a good fault. In this situation, Cao Cao issued a recruitment order, actively recruiting talents from all over the world, hoping to use it for his own benefit. At this moment, a huge projection screen suddenly appeared in the sky. The peak commander ranking is now open. Boom. The appearance of a huge projection screen shocked the world. In the Xikong mansion, Cao Cao sat upright and perilous. Beside him, Sun Yu, Guojia, Cheng Yu, Lu Yi and others stood out. Lord, this should be an opportunity for us. Sun Yu was the first to speak up. Although they currently do not know what the list above the sky is. But the big characters on it are still recognized by everyone. The list of top commanders, this name is enough to make everyone's mind ripple. In today's world, the disputes among feudal lords and the conflicts between them have reached a white-hot stage. In addition to fierce generals and strategists, what is more important on the battlefield is the commanding ability of generals. As the saying goes, one general is powerless to kill the 3 armies. If our commander is a complete waste. Even if soldiers have strong individual combat capabilities, this battle will ultimately only lead to failure. Therefore, 1,000 soldiers are easy to obtain, but one general is difficult to obtain. For Cao Cao, a powerful general is an incredibly precious treasure. Looking around the Cao camp, only a few people, such as Cao Ren, Xiahou Yuan, and Yu Jin, are truly capable of commanding a large army. Others such as Li Jin, Li Dian, Cao Chun, Lv Qian, etc. Either they are too young, or they are only suitable for charging into battle. As a handsome person, their abilities are insufficient. As for Xiahou Dan, the most trusted clan general by Cao Cao, there is indeed a value for military strength. But this commanding ability is really indescribable. Therefore, Cao Cao is now dreaming of a handsome talent who can lead a large army. My lord, I would like to support your proposal. This ranking list, as Wen Ruo said, should be a rare opportunity for us. Guojia, Cheng Yu, and others have also expressed their opinions one after another. It's different from Yuan Shao's side. The strategists on Cao Cao's side occasionally have conflicting views. But there will never be a situation where opinions are maliciously expressed for the sake of competition. Seeing that all the strategists under his command held a positive attitude towards this ranking list, Cao Cao nodded in agreement. At the same time, in the conference hall of Yi City, a completely different scene happened. Several advisors under Yuan Shao's command, including Tian Feng, Zhu Shu, Su Yu, Shen Pei, Gua Tu, Feng Ji, and others. For the emergence of the ranking list, it can be said that each expressed their own opinions and faced each other head-on. Tian Feng and Zhu Shu suggested that Yuan Shao pay more attention to the ranking list. If one can draw inspiration from it and acquire rare handsome talents, it will definitely be an excellent thing. Gua Tu, Feng Ji, and others believe that this ranking is just a bizarre and clever technique, and there is no need to pay attention to it. The two sides are facing each other head-on without giving in. At this time, Su Yu, Shi Pei, and others began to stand up and reconcile. I believe that within our own camp, we must already have many commanding talents that can make it to the list. Therefore, the rankings are just icing on the cake. Listening to the opinions of the advisors under his command, Yuan Shao didn't know which one to listen to for a moment. Seeing the heated argument among the few people, Yuan Shao had no choice but to use his authority as the protagonist and order them to pause the argument. But even so, the few people still glared angrily and refused to give in. And at this moment, the leaderboard above the sky has once again undergone changes. Peak Commander Ranking, list the top 30 generals with the strongest commander abilities in the world. These 30 people only include the surviving generals of the current life. Excluding those who have passed away and those who have not yet been born, characters such as feudal lords and lords are not included. After the inventory of the Peak Commander-in-Chief list, other lists will be released one after another, such as the Hero list, Battle list, and Strategist list. Anyone on the list can receive rewards. Rows of big characters make everyone in the world who is watching the leaderboard stand in awe. The feudal lords and dukes are not among them. That is to say, people like Cao Cao, Yuan Shao, Gong Sunzan, LV Bu, and others are not included in this ranking. This made the feudal lords even more passionate about it. So, looking at the world, there are only 30 people on the list of top commanders. To put it bluntly, these people are all among the best in the world. If I could obtain these people, wouldn't my ambitious career be even more hopeful? Except for Cao Cao, Yuan Shao, Gong Sunzan, and others. Liu Bei in Xiaopei City and Sun Tzu, who is attacking Jiangdong, are full of expectations for this ranking list. Especially Liu Bei, looking at Guan Yu and Zhang Fei standing beside him, his eyes were filled with blazing flames. With the abilities of Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, they are sure to make it to the list. Liu Bei is still very confident in this point. Although Zhang Fei lost Shuzhou due to drinking too much alcohol before. But no matter what, Zhang Fei's ability is still there. On this ranking list, there is naturally a place for him. Sun Tzu's mentality at this moment shares similarities with Liu Bei's. He may not be able to make it to this Commander-in-Chief ranking due to certain limitations. But the male leader's ranking list can definitely make it to the top. However, he cannot make it to the Commander-in-Chief list. Zhou Yu and Tai Shirzi, who are beside him, should both be able to make it to the list. Especially Zhou Yu. To some extent, in Sun Tzu's mind, Zhou Yu's ability is even far superior to his own. This district ranking not only makes it to the top, but it is also possible to enter the top 10. In the midst of widespread attention, new changes have once again appeared on the ranking list. Top Commander Ranking, 30th place, Yu Jin. Camp. Cao Cao's camp. With the appearance of these two large characters, the expression in everyone's eyes gradually became strange. Humph, I didn't expect that the person who made it to the list first was actually Cao Amon's subordinate. Yuan Shao snorted coldly. The news of Cao Cao welcoming Lu Xie to the capital of Xuchang made him very unhappy. However, due to the fact that Gong Sunzan had not been eliminated yet, Yuan Shao was unable to lead his troops southward. I just want to wait until later to deal with Cao Cao. Gua Tu, the rhythm master who understood Yuan Shao's thoughts, stood up in an instant and said with a flattering expression on his face. "Master, calm down your anger. There may only be 1 or 2 people on the list under Cao Amon's command. It's impossible to say that this is the only person under his command who can make it to the list. And the Lord has countless good generals under his command. With the abilities of all the generals, ranking in the top 10 is an easy task. Please wait and see, Lord. When the ranking is revealed to the top 10, all generals will definitely be able to make it. P.S. Those who have passed away or have not yet been born, such as Huang Fu Song, Zhu Ju, Jiang Wei, Deng Ai, as well as those who belong to the types of lords such as Cao Cao, Liu Bei, Sun Tzu, and Gong Sun, are not ranked on the Peak Commander-in-Chief list. After writing the Peak Commander-in-Chief list, other lists will be distributed. For example, taking into account the top 10 shameful battles, such as Zhang Babai's pursuit of Sun 100000. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Strict Military Governance and Imprisonment, Startled by Cao. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Guo Tu truly deserves the name of a master of rhythm. After listening to his words, both Yuan Shao and the generals under his command had a much better expression on their faces. However, Tian Feng, Zhu Shu, and others were filled with sadness in their eyebrows at this moment. Under Yuan Shao's command, Yan Liang was a great general among the 4 pillars of Hebei, possessing both literary, ugly, and brave qualities. However, in terms of strategy, there are serious shortcomings. If these 2 were to be charged generals, they would be more than enough. But commanding a large army to fight is probably far from being a priority. Gao Lan, Yan Liang, and Wen Chou belong to the same attributes, both of whom are brave generals with insufficient strategy. Only with open jaws should be able to make it onto the list. Another example is Zhu Yi, the commander-in-chief who first ascended to the ranks of the dead. During the Battle of Jiqiao, Zhu Yi was able to annihilate the most elite white horse Yizong under Gong Sun's command, and his contribution was indispensable. But Zhu Yi is really too proud. After Yuan Shao achieved more victories in the battle against Gong Sun, Zhu Yi had gradually been refrigerated. If Zhu Yi could make it onto this ranking list, Yuan Shao's expression would probably become incredibly exciting. As for the remaining generals of Yuan Ying, they were not as good as Yan Liang, Wen Chou, Gao Lan, and others. The probability of being on the leaderboard is almost equivalent to none. However, now is not the time to say these discouraging words. If Tian Feng and Zhu Shu stand up and speak frankly at this moment, not only will it offend Yuan Shao, but it will also make the generals of Yuan camp hold a grudge against them. Therefore, at this moment, the 2 of them had no choice but to watch Yuan Shao and Guo Tu proud and unable to speak for a moment. In sharp contrast to Yuan Shao's side. In Xuchang City, upon learning that Yu Jin was on the list, the generals of Cao camp quickly congratulated him. The current generals of Cao camp are far from the pride they had in the Battle of Red Cliffs in the future. Being able to reach the pinnacle of the commander-in-chief ranking, although only ranked 30th, is enough to show the strength of the band. In addition, on weekdays, Yu Jin has always been humble and has a good reputation among the Cao camp. At this moment, everyone is genuinely happy for him from the bottom of their hearts. Including Cao Cao himself, he also felt that Yu Jin was a material that could be made. A few days ago, the newly recruited soldiers by Cao Cao, under the training of Prohibition, have already gained preliminary combat effectiveness. Having the ability to govern the army is actually a great blessing for Cao camp. Just as Cao Cao was about to speak up to commend Yu Jin, the image on the ranking list changed once again. Yu Jin, a native of Juping County, Mount Taishan Prefecture, has followed Cao Cao throughout his life and made remarkable achievements. In the second year of Jianan, Cao Cao went on an expedition against Zhang Liao and accompanied the army in the Forbidden City when all the armies were in chaos. Only by banning their troops could they still maintain composure during the chaos. Yu Ban attacked the Qing Zhou soldiers who did not abide by military discipline. In order to maintain military law, he spared no effort in killing his old friends and was praised by Cao Cao as superior to ancient famous generals. Due to the existence of Yu Jin, the Cao army was able to stabilize their morale and evacuate from the Dragon Pond and Tiger Cave of Wancheng. The screen appears with subtitles. The generals of Cao Ying, along with Cao Cao himself, had already stood on the ground, unaware of what was happening. Especially Cao Cao himself, he had great doubts about the ranking list before. But now, with the appearance of the conquest of Zhang Liao in the second year of Jianan, this doubt instantly dissipated. Cao Cao understood in his heart that Zhang Liao would definitely be the person he wanted to conquer in the future. On the one hand, Zhang Liao's identity is the remnants of the Western Liang dynasty, as a traitor of the Han dynasty. Zhang Ji, the uncle of Zhang Liao, was one of the famous Xiuyang F4 under Dong Zhuo's command. The remaining three people are Li Yan, Guosi, and Fan Chou. Fan Chou has already died in the internal strife. Li and Guosi previously controlled Lu Xie for 3 years. After Lu Xie moved the capital to Xuchang, the F4 in Xiuyang was naturally defined by Cao Cao as the leader of rebels. And Zhang Ji died last year in the battle of attacking Lu Biao in the south. Zhang Xiao inherited the Western Liang army led by Zhang Ji. Compared to Li and Guosi, their strength is indeed much weaker. In such a situation, if Cao Cao sends troops to suppress the remnants of the Western Liang dynasty, Zhang Xiao will definitely bear the brunt. From this, it can be seen that this ranking has a clear forecast for the future. Knowing the effect of predicting the future through the ranking list, the strategists of Cao Ying also showed signs of joy on their faces. They noticed the evaluation of Ban on the subtitles of the leaderboard, saying, "I have followed Cao Cao throughout my life in battles to the south and north, and have achieved remarkable military achievements." Does this not mean that the influence of Cao Cao will continue for a long time? This is great news for everyone in Cao camp. In today's world, after the split of the Western Liang army, the strongest feudal lords must be the brothers Yuan Shao and Yuan Shu. I'm afraid within 10 years, the decisive battle will begin in the north. If Cao Cao's power could continue for several years. Isn't it clear that compared to the two brothers of the Yuan family, Cao Cao is more like the ultimate winner? The people of Cao camp felt excited because of this. As for the defeat of Wancheng, at the moment, they have not yet realized the seriousness of the matter. Seeing the evaluation of the ban on the ranking list, Yuan Shao's expression on his face was extremely unpleasant. Is it difficult for this Cao A man to have the ability to defeat me in the end? Yuan Shao silently clenched his fist. He doesn't want to encounter such a result. Cao Cao was just his little brother before. If the big brother gets messed up by the little brother, wouldn't it be embarrassing to throw him at grandma's house? A group of advisors under Yuan Shao, including Guo Tu, Feng Ji, and others, naturally saw the evaluation of Ban on the ranking list. The two of them turned their eyes slightly and spoke to Yuan Shao, saying, "The protagonist doesn't have to worry about the evaluation of the ranking list." Yu Jin followed Cao Cao's campaigns in the south and north for a lifetime, referring to either 10 or more years. Since the death of the governor of Jibei, Bao Xian, Yu Jin has been following Cao Cao's side. It has been 7 years since then. This time is not too short. Please rest assured, my lord. In the end, it will be you who can win the world, not Cao Mengde. Yuan Shao nodded slightly. He also thinks so. To admit defeat to Cao Cao, with Yuan Benchu's arrogance, one cannot do such a thing. I believe the ultimate winner is still Yuan Benchu, not Cao Mengde. At this point, the screen on the leaderboard changed again. In the 5th year of Jianan, the Battle of Guandu broke out. Cao Cao and Yuan Shao engaged in a decisive battle. Cao Cao has fewer soldiers, while Yuan Shao has more, resulting in a huge gap in strength between the two sides. Yu Jin volunteered to serve as a vanguard and led troops to garrison in Yanjin. After a difficult defense battle, Yu Jin resisted Yuan's fierce attack after receiving reinforcements from Cao camp. Generals such as Yu Jin and Lu Jin led 5,000 infantry and cavalry to cross the river and attack Yuan Shao Bei camp, capturing thousands. Qingming outing in happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Yuan Mishui. This ranking list is poisonous, absolutely. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Under the fierce fighting of the ban, the morale of the Cao army was significantly improved. After the Battle of Guandu, Yu Jin was appointed as a partial general for his meritorious service, becoming one of Cao Cao's most trusted generals. At this point in the broadcast of the leaderboard, the generals of Cao camp looked at Yu Jin with envy. At this time, the position of biased general was not the kind of ordinary official position after the founding of the Three Kingdoms. Being granted the title of partial general is enough to show the outstanding military achievements of the ban. However, it is not surprising to be able to secure such a position based on the performance of being banned on the ranking list. However, what made Cao Cao even more delighted was that, in the 5th year of Jianan, 4 years later, the person who fought against Yuan Shao was not Yuan Shu and Yuan Mishui, but Cao Meng. Nowadays, the northern feudal lords rose together. There will definitely be a winner between Yuan Shao and Gong Xuanzan. Similarly, there will definitely be a winner between Cao Cao, Yuan Shu, LV Bu, and others. If it were Cao Cao who had a decisive battle with Yuan Shao at Guandu, this is enough to indicate that Yuan Shu is likely to have been defeated, and Cao Cao has achieved victory in the Central Plains war zone. The winner of the Northern Four Prefectures Theater Command will undoubtedly be Yuan Shao rather than Gong Xuanzan. Otherwise, with Yuan Shao's personality, I will never hastily lead a large army south without eliminating Gong Xuanzan. Congratulations, my lord. Congratulations, my lord. At this moment, seeing the footage of the Battle of Guandu on the leaderboard, even the strategists of Cao Ying were no longer calm in their faces. It is an undeniable fact that Yuan Shao's strength is stronger than Cao Cao's. It is not an easy task to bridge the gap between them. After the Battle of Guandu, Yu Jin obtained the position of partial general, which seems to be most likely a victory for Cao Cao's side. However, Cao Cao's side was plunged into a state of joy, while Yuan Shu and Gong Xuanzan's faces were not as beautiful at the moment. In Yijing City, Gong Xuanzan's face turned pale, and he held a cup in his hand that was dark blue. Unconsciously, it had been crushed by his squeezing. Bastard! Gong Xuanzan burst out and cursed loudly. The sudden appearance of the ranking naturally caught his attention. Seeing Yuan Shao and Cao Cao engaged in a decisive battle at Guandu, how could Gong Xuanzan not know the profound meaning behind it? With Yuan Shao's personality, he would never rush southward before resolving the northern crisis. In this way, it illustrates a very terrifying problem. That is, not only did his Gongsun Boyang lose, and there is a high probability that they will be completely eliminated by Yuan Shao in the end. Looking back on the days when Gong Xuanzan led his army to attack Jizhou, he was so imposing. But now, not only have they suffered consecutive defeats, even the proud white horse Yizong under his command suffered almost all losses in the Battle of Jiqiao. Gong Xuanzan's heart was filled with hatred towards Yuan Shao. But he still has a glimmer of fantasy about the future. Since moving to this capital city last year, Gong Xuanzan hopes to use a strategic defensive posture to resist the fierce attacks of Yuan Shao's army. But now, through this ranking list, Gong Xuanzan seemed to have seen the end of his future military defeat and death. No way. No way. General, I can't just lose to that Yuan Benchu. Gong Zan roared. His eyes were already bloodshot. Anger and humiliation surged in my heart in an instant. His Gongsun Boyu, even those Wuhuan tribes were not afraid. How could he lose to Yuan Shao and Yuan Benchu? Send me orders to continue expanding the army. General, I will definitely reclaim the lost land of Yuzhou. Gongsun Zan ordered to the captain of the personal guards beside him. Yes. The excitement in the eyes of the captain of the personal guards could not be concealed in an instant. It has been a long time since my lord moved to this capital city without any military orders. The number of lost land in Yuzhou is also increasing. If it continues like this, I'm afraid defeat will be a definite thing. Now, the protagonist has gained motivation. They, who are subordinates, naturally feel extremely happy in their hearts. The man from Yuzhou is not afraid of death, but he is afraid that he will lose his blood. The protagonist's proactive attack is a very good signal for them. Even if one dies in battle, it can still be considered a horse wrapped in a shroud. Undoubtedly, dying in this capital city makes it easier for them to accept. However, compared to Gongsun Zan, at this moment, Yuan Mishui in Shochuan City is not so relaxed. As is well known, Yuan Mishui had an emperor's dream in her heart. This dream starts from when he received the imperial jade seal from Sun Tzu. In Yuan Mishui's view, only she is the legitimate son of the Yuan family, who has 4 generations and 3 dukes. Yuan Shao, Yuan Ji, Yuan Ba and others were all illegitimate sons who did not enter the mainstream. Especially Yuan Shao, who was just lucky enough to be adopted as the legitimate son by Uncle Yuan Cheng, thus possessing the status of the legitimate son of the Yuan family. Otherwise, Yuan Shao was just a commoner throughout his life. Compared to his Yuan Mishui, his status can be described as far apart. Even bluntly, there is not much comparability between the two of them. But now, this sudden emergence of the top commander ranking. But he told Yuan Shu naked that not only did he lose, but it was also highly likely that his mother was not defeated by Yuan Shao, but lost at the hands of Cao Cao, a little brother who couldn't even compare to Yuan Shao. Where does this make Yuan Mishui lose face? Under the sky, anyone who is intelligent is likely to have already seen the predictions of the rankings for future events. Yuan Shu and Cao Cao both belong to the Central Plains war zone in the struggle for hegemony among feudal lords. Between two people, only one can win. If Cao Cao and Yuan Shao were to engage in a decisive battle at Guandu, what would happen to Yuan Mishui? Is it difficult? Yuan Mishui can't even compare to someone like Cao Cao. Yuan Shu was very dissatisfied in his heart. His fierce generals are like clouds, and his courtiers are like rain. Arm like Ji Ling, Zhang Sun, Lu Ju, Chen Lan, Lu Sun, Lei Buk, Lei Su, and others, which one is not a top-notch general in the world? With such a lineup, how could they not defeat Chao Amon? And there is also that prohibition. He has hardly ever heard of Yuan Mishui. Can a person like this still make it to the top commander ranking? Isn't it funny? Fortunately, Yuan Mishui is not a modern person, otherwise he would have to give a 1-star low-score negative review to the ranking list. Perhaps this ranking is just stirring up awareness. With my abilities and the lineup of our army, it's impossible for me to lose to Chao Amon. Yuan Shu thought to himself this way. He is the person who will become emperor in the future. Even the country name has already been planned. How could it possibly stop here? What kind of ranking list? Cross them all out for me. Yuan Mishui became more and more angry as she thought, and roared fiercely. After cursing, I still feel frustrated. This list is toxic and absolutely fake. Anyway, he doesn't want to believe a single word from Yuan Mishui anymore. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. The 7 armies flooded by water, and the evening scenery is desolate. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. However, the ranking list will not disappear due to Yuan Mishui's rage. On the contrary, it's still going on. After the Battle of Guandu, Yu Jin became an indispensable pillar in the Cao camp, but it was also because of this that he gradually left the front line of the army. In addition to governing the military, Yu Jin has also achieved considerable success in domestic affairs as a character like Cao Ying. See God Needle. Yu Jin has always been trusted by Cao Cao. In the 21st year of Jianan, Yu Jin was promoted to the position of Left General and awarded the title of Fake Jiue. Perhaps the best outcome would be for Yu Jin to retire, but the bleak ending of the evening scene ultimately befell him. In the 24th year of Jianan, the Battle of Xiangfan broke out. Guan Yu besieged Lv Chang in Xianyang, besieged Cao Ren in Fancheng, and the southern battlefield of Chao's army was in a difficult situation at this moment. Almost no one in Chao's camp is capable of taking on a major responsibility at this critical moment. Cao Cao ordered Yu Jin, who had already served as the former general, as well as Fengyi General Pang De, to lead a total of 30,000 soldiers from the 7th Army to Fancheng to assist Cao Ren. In autumn, Guan Yu took advantage of the excessive autumn rain and the surging Han River to almost completely annihilate Yu Jin and Pang De. At the last moment, Yu Jin's army surrendered, and Pang De remained indomitable to death. Upon learning of Yu Jin's defeat, Cao Cao sighed and said, "Yu Jin and I have known each other for 30 years. How could we face danger? It's not as good as Pang De." 2 years later, Yu Jin was repatriated and sent back to Chaoying, but ultimately died of grief and anger throughout Yu Jin's life. Although he did not lead his troops alone to victory in major battles, as a general, he was more than enough. Moreover, Yu Jin has always been known for his rigorous military management. The army he has trained always maintains strict discipline and never violates military discipline on the battlefield, making him a true expert in military training. Performance evaluation. 2 stars, training ability. 4 stars, influence. 2 stars, comprehensive evaluation. 8 stars, peak commander ranking reward. White robe military training method. White light emerged, and a yellowed book passed into Yu Jin's hands. There are a few big characters written on it, which are White Robe Military Training Method. Yu Jin was already skilled in governing the military, and at a glance, it was clear that this book was extraordinary. But now he obviously doesn't have the mood to go through it in detail. What is said on the leaderboard is most likely something that will really happen in the future. How could Yu Jin not feel the bleak ending of a life full of prestige, which ended in a bleak evening scene? On the other hand, Cao Cao's expression on his face became even more complex at this moment. Jianan was built 24 years ago, and there is still a long time to go until now. It seems that by that time, Cao Meng had not yet conquered the world. But here comes the problem. In the 5th year of Jianan, he had already engaged in a decisive battle with Yuan Shao at Guandu. If Yuan Shao were defeated by him, there would be no one in the world who could stop the Cao army's attack. Why hasn't the world been pacified by the 24th year of Jianan? And, what kind of ghost is Guan Yu attacking Xiangfan? Guan Yu was Liu Bei's second brother and also a person admired by Cao Cao. Since the initial campaign against Dongzhuo, Cao Cao has been thinking about Guan Yu in his heart, hoping to have the opportunity to take him under his command. At first glance, Guan Yu not only failed to be under his command, but also became a major enemy in the future. Based on Cao Ren's position within the Cao camp. If the power under Cao Cao's command further expands, it will be a definite decision for him to serve as the overall commander of the party in the future. Guan Yu's ability to defeat Cao Ren and Yu Jin is a testament to his exceptional military command ability. To some extent, this also indicates that Cao Cao's ability to recognize people is extraordinary. Is it difficult? In the future, my number 1 enemy will be Liu Bei and Lu Xuande. Cao Cao's heart was filled with murmurs. Last year, Liu Bei was taken to Shuzhou by Lv Bu. Now temporarily stationed in Xiaopei, and has already made contact with Cao Cao, becoming a mission spy. The threat of Liu Bei in Cao Cao's heart naturally declined in a straight line as he was able to lose Shuzhou, a city of great significance. This couldn't help but make Cao Cao feel extremely puzzled in his heart. With Liu Bei now, there is no sign of having the potential to become a trusted enemy anywhere. Similarly, Guan Yu is a person of utmost righteousness. In addition, he is Liu Bei's sworn brother. How could such a person possibly abandon Liu Bei and join other camps? No way, we must pay close attention to Liu Xuande in the future and not let this guy secretly grow up. Cao Cao secretly made up his mind and said. At this moment, Cao Cao also noticed the embarrassed expression on Yu Jin's face. After thinking for a moment, Cao Cao shook his head slightly. Thinking to himself, Yu Jin's defection to the enemy is ultimately a matter of the future. And it was forced to surrender after the defeat. Although responsible, he did not help Guan Yu in the opposite direction and caused substantial damage to his own side. Now is the time for employment, and Yu Jin's ranking as the top commander does indeed indicate that he is a capable person. The future can also be changed. If he is ignored because of this, I'm afraid I will lose a great general. As for Pang De, Cao Cao has not heard of this name for the time being. I secretly decided to pay more attention to this person in the future. For now, it is still necessary to appease the prohibition first. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5 Sun Tzu. So, in a few years. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Accompanied by the completion of the inventory of Yuban, all the feudal lords felt deeply saddened. In the first half of Yu Jin's life, it can be said that his career reached its peak. As long as there are no accidents, one can definitely enjoy their later years and make a name for themselves in history. But unfortunately, what didn't happen was still an accident. The outbreak of the Battle of Xiangfan made Yu Jin a prisoner. After 2 years, he passed away hastily. However, despite this, Yu Jin ultimately gained a comprehensive evaluation of up to 8 stars, firmly occupying the 30th place on the peak commander ranking. In Xiaopei City, Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei stared blankly at the footage playing on the leaderboard. Gu. More than 20 years later, you'll clean up that kid Yu Jin. The 7th Army is submerged in water, captured by the forbidden beheading of Pang De. Second brother is mighty. Zhang Fei shouted excitedly on his face. Although their 3 brothers have now gained a certain level of fame. But after all, he is not yet the top figure in the Big Han traffic circle. Since Yu Jin ranks 30th on the peak commander ranking. What about defeating Guan Yu? Isn't it 100% guaranteed to be on the list? The 30th ranked Yu Jin obtained something called White Robe Military Training Method. This is a training method that has never appeared before. Just the tail of the crane can receive such rewards. What new rewards will be given to Guan Yu in the ranking list when it comes to inventory? Compared to Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, Liu Bei felt even more delighted in his heart. With his current strength, he is almost considered the weakest type of feudal lord in the circle of Han lords. Put it nicely, call it Little Marquis. To put it bluntly, let's just call it the commander of the light pole with a few big-headed soldiers. It can be inferred from the inventory of the band rankings. In the future, Cao Cao defeated Yuan Shao in the Battle of Guandu. In that case, there is a high probability that Cao Cao will become the last winner in the north. Xiangfan is located at the border of Jingzhou and Nanyang County. In the 24th year of Jianan, Guan Yu led his troops northward. Does this mean? By then, it is highly likely that I will have established a southern regime and will compete with Cao Cao's northern regime. As soon as he thought of this, Liu Bei's heart suddenly felt like 1,000 tides passing through, constantly flooding. Even a behemoth like Yuan Shao may not be able to hold out in the end. But his three brothers Lu Xuanda were able to become opponents of Cao Cao, the future northern hegemon. How could Liu Bei still suppress the excitement at the thought of this? However, now Jingzhou is in Liu Jingsheng's hands. Although this person lacks ambition, he has more than enough to maintain his integrity. How did I end up taking Jingzhou from his hands? At the thought of this, Liu Bei couldn't help but furrow his brow slightly. He is a person who places great emphasis on reputation. If we were to snatch Jingzhou directly from Liu Biao's hands, we might not be able to do such a thing. Moreover, although Liu Biao's power is not comparable to Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, Yuan Shu, and others. But looking at the world, there are very few people who can compete with him. With the great support of Jingzhou aristocratic family, Liu Biao's rule in Jingzhou was almost as stable as Mount Tai. Unless Liu Biao suddenly experiences death. Liu Biao is older than Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, and others, and he is already in his 60s this year. In this era where the average life expectancy is less than 30 years old, what is Liu Biao's age? It can already be considered as one of the oldest in terms of age. If one day your legs suddenly burp and you fart, it is highly likely to happen. It seems that I should hurry up and look for opportunities to take my second and third brothers south. Compared to the north, perhaps the south is my place of use. Liu Bei thought to himself. Chaisang City. Looking at the incident of Guan Yu flooding the 7th Army on the ranking list, Sun Tzu clenched his fist tightly. Can it be that in the future, only Cao Cao and Liu Bei will be left to compete for dominance in this world? Where will I be, Sun Bofu? As if sensing what Sun Tzu was thinking, Zhou Yu spoke up and advised. Bofu, Cao Cao has a great power, and if there is only one force in the south, it is difficult to compete with it. In the 24th year of Jianan, besides the influence of Guan Yu, there should have been other forces in the south. Let's not be impatient now. Once the ranking changes again, we may know the specific direction of the future. Upon hearing that Zhou Yu had spoken, Sun Tzu's violent temper quickly subsided. Just thinking about it, if Cao Cao really becomes the northern hegemon. Even if Liu Bei can occupy a place in the south, with the current level of development in the south. Over time, it will also be difficult to be a match for Cao Cao. If there is another force present, working together with Liu Bei may still have a certain chance of winning. Just as Sun Tzu was worried. The leaderboard above the sky has once again undergone new changes. Top Commander ranking, 29th place, Huang Gai. A figure quickly appeared in the picture. This figure Sun Tzu is very familiar with, it is the veteran Huang Gai who is highly trusted by him. Huang Gai, styled Gongfu, born in Quanling, Lingling. He served as the 3 generations of Lord Sun Jian, Sun Tzu, and Sun Quan. When the screen reaches this point, Sun Tzu's big eyes stared like copper bells in an instant. The expression on his face was full of doubt and confusion. At this moment, Sun Tzu only wanted to ask one question. So, I won't be able to survive Huang Gai, an uncle who is almost 25 years older than me. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6 Huang Gai. Gong Jin, please whip me. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The ranking list clearly does not deliberately pay attention to Sun Tzu's emotions. The inventory of Huang Gai is still ongoing. Huang Gai was a county official in his early years, and later followed Sun Jian to travel south and north. He, along with Cheng Pu, Han Dang, and Zhu Mao, were all 4 major generals under Sun Jian's command. After Sun Jian's death in battle, Huang Gai followed Sun Tzu and became a god-like figure in the army. After Sun Tzu pacified Jiangdong, many tribes in Shangyue were unwilling to surrender. Huang Gai was dispatched by Sun Tzu to appease the wealthy and help the poor, making Shan Yu sincerely surrender. After Sun Tzu's death, Huang Gai transferred to serve Sun Quan and was promoted to the position of commander of Danyang in the 13th year of Jianan. Cao Cao led a large army southward, with a great potential to unify the world. Huang Gai followed Zhou Yu and Chao's army to fight in Red Cliff. Huang Gai proposed a fire attack tactic and personally went to feign surrender. The leaderboard screen has reached this point, giving Huang Gai a close-up. In the picture, although Huang Gai's beard and hair were already graying, his face remained calm and composed, showing no signs of timidity. The person who appeared beside him was undoubtedly Zhou Yu. Huang Gai opened his mouth and said, "Gong Jin, now that Cao Cao is in great power, if we cannot win, Jiangdong will be in danger, my lord. Only by going deep into the enemy's camp and gaining his trust, can we possibly defeat them in the first battle on the Red Cliff. General Huang, Cao Cao is inherently cunning, and it is impossible for him to believe ordinary surrender." Zhou Yu sighed slightly. "My old bone is nothing. Please whip me, Gong Jin. Go through fire and water at all costs," Huang Gai said resolutely. Immediately, out of nowhere, a thick and long whip was pulled out. Under the gaze of a group of generals, Zhou Yu tearfully whipped Huang Gai. In an instant, Huang Gai's body was covered in skin and flesh, leaving almost no good flesh. "Gong Jin, I'll go now. Protect our Jiangdong." As the screen turned, Huang Gai had already boarded the Qinglongya boat and bid farewell to Zhou Yu. Behind him, there were dozens of Mengchong and Dou ships loaded with cream oil. The next moment, the scene changes again. On the Yangtze River, compared to the thousands of warships of the Cao army, Huang Gai, these dozens of small boats, are like a small boat in the sea, insignificant. "Cao thief! Take your life." Huang Gai, holding a large knife, was the first to board the Cao army's warship. The east wind howled and the flames burned, like a glutton descending to the world, fiercely devouring the warships under the iron chain of the Cao army. The close-up is temporarily over here. Huang Gai's youthful and heroic figure is rooted in the hearts of every viewer of the leaderboard. In the 13th year of Jianan, the Sun Lu coalition army defeated the Cao army in Chibi. Huang Gai's military achievements are indispensable, and his body has paid a heavy price for it after the war. Huang Gai was appointed as the commander-in-chief of Wufeng for his meritorious service and transferred to the position of governor of Lingling during his tenure. Huang Gai quelled the Wuxi rebellion and annihilated the bandits who invaded the mountains. However, due to the recurrence of old injuries in the Battle of Red Cliffs, he passed away 2 years later. Throughout Huang Gai's life, he devoted himself wholeheartedly to the 3 generations of the Sun family and worked tirelessly. In recognition of his achievements, later generations praised Huang Gai as Jiangdong Yuanshuan, Jiangdong 3 veterans, and Jiangdiao 12 tiger ministers. Performance evaluation. Samsung, training ability. 2 stars, influence. 3.5 stars, comprehensive evaluation. 8.5 stars, peak commander ranking reward. Perfect repair wound gold wound medicine x5, as long as you suffer from an external injury, your lifespan is not yet exhausted, and you still have 1 breath, taking it can instantly revive you. 5 pieces of golden ulcer medicine for treating external injuries fell from the sky onto Huang Gai's hands. Although there is no white-robed army training method similar to the one obtained through prohibition, these 5 perfect healing medicines for external injuries are also extremely rare treasures. As long as it's an external injury, 1 breath can be saved from the gates of hell. This means that Huang Gai on the battlefield has 6 lives. If one does not deliberately seek death on their own, it is difficult to be killed by the enemy. Compared to the rewards distributed on the ranking list, counting the timelines related to the future that appeared in Huang Gai instantly made the feudal lords scratch their ears and cheeks. The most ignorant person is none other than Sun Tzu. Cao Cao possessed the strength to unify the north, which he had already guessed roughly during the previous inventory of Yuban. After sweeping the north, it was imperative for Cao Cao's ambition to move south. Here comes the question of Kutemo. The Battle of Red Cliffs in the 13th year of Jianan seems to have no relation to his grandson Bofu's yarn. There are 3 confirmed protagonists, namely Zhou Yu, Cao Cao, and Huang Gai. Sun Tzu now has a son, Shao, but he is still young, only 4 years old. According to normal inheritance laws, after Sun Tzu's death, he should pass on the throne to his eldest son Shao. Why did Sun Quan, the second younger brother, succeed to the throne in the end? Is it a rebellion or not? This idea was immediately forgotten by Sun Tzu when it first appeared. Huang Gai, Zhou Yu, and others are loyal to him. If Sun Quan conspires against him, the 2 of them will definitely not be able to serve him. It seems that Sun Quan can only succeed normally. But if we wait until the 13th year of Jianan, when Sun Shao is almost 18 years old, Sun Tzu will pass on the position to him. Isn't this an indication that Sun Tzu won't even be able to live until that time? In other words, it's just the past 2 years. One day, Sun Tzu suddenly kicked his legs and belched. Thinking of this, Sun Tzu's mood instantly became extremely depressed. There is an emotion that modern people refer to as emo, which surges into their hearts like a tide. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7 Cao Cao. I will send troops to eliminate that great. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What exactly happened during the period from the 1st year of Jianan to the 13th year of Jianan? At this moment, the hearts of all the feudal lords were filled with doubts about this. Especially Sun Tzu, he didn't understand why he died suddenly in his prime. What exactly is the cause of death? Not just Sun Tzu. Zhou Yu, Tai Shirzi, and others were also filled with confusion in their hearts. Tai Shirzi's defection from Lu Yao's command was largely due to the promises given to him by Sun Tzu, as well as the powerful charm attached to Sun Tzu himself. And now, from the ranking list, it can be seen that Sun Tzu passed away 13 years before Jianan. This made Tai Shirzi feel like millions of grass and mud horses stepping over. Sun Quan is only a 14-year-old boy now, and Tai Shirzi had little knowledge of him before. But this guy later became the Lord of Jiangdong. Although there was not much introduction about Sun Quan's deeds in the inventory of Huang Gai just now. But even discerning people can see it. During the Battle of Red Cliffs, Cao Cao's power was likely to have reached the point of swallowing the world. If Sun Quan, the ruler of Jiangdong, did not have a firm belief in resisting Cao Cao and instead advocated surrender, the Battle of Red Cliffs would not have been possible. It can be seen from this that Sun Quan is definitely not a good person. In Xuchang City, Cao Cao, who watched the ranking list, also realized this. So the ones who finally blocked me from sweeping the world were Sun Quan, Zhou Yu, and Huang Gai from Jiangdong, right? Thinking of this, Cao Cao couldn't help feeling a bit tricky. According to the scouts' report, Sun Tzu exchanged several thousand soldiers and horses from Yuan Mishui for the Imperial Jade Seal 2 years ago. At that time, Cao Cao did not pay much attention to this matter. After all, the land in Jiangdong may not have many famous and powerful feudal lords. But Lu Yao, Yan Baihu, Wang Lang and others each had a considerable number of troops under their command. With Sun Tzu's thousands of people, it's just a matter of stuffing teeth. In the blink of an eye, less than 2 years have passed. When the war report from Jiangdong came back, Sun Tzu had basically unified Jiangdong. With the natural dangers of the Yangtze River and elite sailors, Jiangdong instantly became an easy-to-defend and difficult-to-attack place. In addition, with Sun Tzu's ability, if not eliminated in a timely manner, it is likely to become a major disaster in the future. But unfortunately, Cao Cao has not yet resolved the Northern War, so he has no spare force to go south. This made Cao Cao feel a great headache. According to the ranking list, when Cao Mengde marched south, Sun Tzu had already passed away. In this situation, under the leadership of Zhou Yu, Huang Gai, and others, the Jiangdong army still achieved victory in the Battle of Red Cliffs. If Sun Tzu were still alive during the Battle of Red Cliffs, wouldn't it be even more difficult? Seeing that Jiangdong was gradually becoming more and more unstable, Cao Cao felt extremely anxious as he could not eliminate this hidden danger. As if seeing what Cao Cao was thinking, Guo Jia spoke up and advised. "My lord, there's no need to worry too much. Through the ranking list, the protagonist now knows that Zhou Yu and Huang Gai are using fake surrender and fire attack. In this way, as long as our army is prepared in advance, we can ensure that there is no risk." What filial piety says is absolutely right. Upon hearing Guo Jia's words, Cao Cao's eyebrows gradually relaxed. Today's world. His greatest enemies of Cao Mengde were Yuan Shao, Yuan Shu, and others. Although Sun Tzu has gradually become the climate. But as long as you prepare in advance, you can definitely defeat it in the end. By the way, there's also Liu Bei. This person is currently stationed in Xiaopei and it seems that they cannot raise tigers as a threat. They should make arrangements in advance and eliminate him in a timely manner. In the inventory of Huang Gai just now, the concept of Sun-Lu alliance was also proposed. Combined with the previous inventory during the Prohibition period, the images that appeared on the screen, the incident of Guan Yu flooding the 7th Army. Cao Cao couldn't help but itch his teeth with anger. The thought of being able to keep Liu Bei bouncing around for so long in the future, and even fleeing from the north to the south, and possibly even establishing a political power. Boss Cao wished he could slap himself twice on the spot. How easily do you underestimate your enemies? This wave of operation has become a spokesperson for raising tigers as a threat. No, it seems that the eradication of Liu Bei cannot be postponed. We need to execute it as soon as possible. Cao Cao secretly made up his mind and said. At the same time, as if there was a psychological connection between Liu Bei and Cao Cao, Liu Bei also realized his own situation from the ranking list. He quickly instructed Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. "Yun Chang and Ida, I'm afraid the Cao army will soon attack. Hurry up and prepare your troops. We will seek help from LV Bu, and we must not be annihilated by the Cao army here. Big brother." Guan Yu and Zhang Fei also realized the seriousness of the matter through the tense expression on Liu Bei's face. Cao Cao has great power, while Liu Bei has little power. The road to Jingzhou was blocked by Cao Cao and Yuan Shu. If the Cao army were to attack at this time, the only option would probably be to go to war. And in the current situation, only LV Bu remains among the surrounding lords who can protect Liu Bei. Therefore, Liu Bei decisively chose to abandon his past grievances and sent Sun Qian to request reinforcements from Liu Bu. From the ranking list, it can be seen that Liu Bu may not have a good future either. Liu Bei firmly believed that LV Bu must still understand the truth of losing his lips and losing his teeth. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Yuaning argues again, Yuan Shao wants to go south and beat. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yi City Council Hall. Yuan Shao had a gloomy and terrifying expression on his face, as ugly as a ferocious spirit from hell. If it were said that during the inventory of Yuban, Yuan Shao still had illusions in his heart. At that moment. This fantasy has been accompanied by the appearance of the Battle of Red Cliffs, instantly dissipated. Guogongza. That's what you're saying. Chao Aman, that guy must not be our army's opponent in the end. With a splash. Yuan Shao kicked the table next to him to the ground and gritted his teeth as he looked at Guo Tuesday. Lord! Lord, I belong to. I am guilty. Guo Tu was frightened to the point of losing his soul. But his heart was also filled with doubts. It shouldn't be. How could the immense power under my lord's command possibly fail to defeat Cao Amon? Sigh. Tian Feng let out a deep sigh and watched the scene coldly. In his view, Guotu's gang was clearly trapped in a cocoon. Yuan Shao's camp may seem powerful, but in reality, there are many internal contradictions. Guotu, Feng Ji, Shen Pei, Xian Ping, and even Zhou Yu and others turned a blind eye to these internal contradictions. Or rather, many of these contradictions actually originate from themselves. Yuan Shao has 3 sons under his command. Except for Yuan Shi, the second son who was not valued. At this time, the situation between the eldest son Yuan Tan and the third son Yuan Shang was already on par. Guotu, Xian Ping, and others took the lead in supporting Yuan Tan as the successor of Yuan Shao in the future. Matchmaking, encountering discipline, and others are not willing to be outdone, raising the banner for Yuan Shang. If it weren't for these strategists interfering with the relationship between the brothers Yuan Tan and Yuan Shang, it might not have been possible to have a life and death struggle. But under the instigation of these people, the 2 brothers wished they could eliminate each other quickly. Where is Zhou Yu? What is the identity played in this? As the earliest strategist to follow Yuan Shao, Zhou Yu had much older qualifications than even Tian Feng, Zhu Shu, and others. Therefore, there is no need for Zhou Yu to rush to stand in line. What he did was constantly profiting from the 2 young masters. This approach makes Guotu, Feng Ji and others feel extremely shameless about it. Over the years, Zhou Yu has taken a lot of wealth from Yuan Tan and Yuan Shang. It looks limitless in scenery. But if one day suddenly loses power, it is likely that the wall will fall instantly and everyone will push it. This is just a superficial contradiction of Yuan Shao's power. Besides that, Yuan Shao is also good at ranking seniors in terms of capital allocation. Zhu Yi and Zhang Jia are 2 highly capable individuals in the eyes of Professor Zhu. The level of trust within Yuan's camp is far inferior to that of Yan Liang and Wen Chou, 2 reckless men. Especially Zhu Yi, who was once in the glory of the Battle of Jiqiao, now falls into a state of being hidden in snow. I'm afraid the day of Gong Sun Zan's downfall will be the day of Zhu Yi's death. Although named one of the 4 pillars of Hebei, Zhang Zhu never had the opportunity to lead troops alone. Most of the time, he acts as the deputy of Yan Liang or Wen Chou. With such a lineup of Yuaning, how can we compare with the popular Cao Meng? Although Yuan Shao's power far exceeds that of Cao Cao now. But in the future decisive battle, I'm afraid we will definitely fall into a disadvantage due to these unresolved hidden dangers. The ultimate defeat is also predictable. Thinking of this, Tian Feng, who has always been known for being tough and committing crimes, can no longer bear it. I saw him take big steps and suggest to Yuan Shao. Lord, the power under Cao Meng's command has not yet fully formed. I suggest sending troops to attack him immediately. Tian Feng thought to himself, since this ranking has already been mentioned. The one who will defeat Yuan Benchu in the future will definitely be Cao Meng. Even if we hesitate any longer, we should still be able to make a decision now, right? But who knew, Tian Feng had just finished speaking. Yuan Ying's traditional old project has started again. I saw Zhou Yu, Feng Ji, Xian Ping, and others standing up one after another. Dissuade Yuan Shao from immediately sending troops to attack Cao Cao. The reason for using it is also very sincere. My lord, Gong Sun Zan's gang is lurking and jumping around in Yuzhou foolishly. If our army sends troops southward, he will definitely actively send troops to recapture the lost territory. And that Black Mountain bandit Zhang Yan, who has also been restless recently, wants to send troops to plunder various counties in Jizhou. Never rush south without eliminating the internal turmoil. Yuan Shao had already decided in his heart to send troops to attack Cao Cao. But upon hearing what Zhou Yu and others said, they immediately entered a state of hesitation. Compared to Cao Cao, it is obvious that Gongsun Zan posed a greater threat to Yuan Shao before. In addition, Gongsun Zan formed an alliance with the Black Mountain bandit Zhang Yan. If these two people are not removed in time, there will definitely be chaos in the rear when heading south. But it has been said on the list of top commanders that Cao Cao will win the Battle of Guandu. And in the 13th year of Jianan, he went south to launch the Battle of Red Cliffs. If Cao Cao is not eliminated, Yuan Shao will not even sleep soundly. Lord, Gongsun Zan is just a defeated general. Zhang Yan is just a big rogue who can't stand the stage. Eradicating Chao Mengde is the top priority. Tian Feng spoke up. After speaking, he glared fiercely at Zhou Yu, Feng Ji, Xin Ping, and others. In Tian Feng's opinion, these guys are a bit confused about their priorities. Chao Mengde is a warlord with the posture of unifying the world, while Gongsun Zan is at best just a hegemon. Why is it difficult to distinguish which threat is greater? However, it was not yet time for Tian Feng to speak again. I saw several messenger soldiers anxiously running in outside the conference hall, Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. The Misty Embroiderer in the Taihang Mountains. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Master, the big deal is not good. Zhang Yan led tens of thousands of Black Mountain bandits to break out of the Taihang Mountains and sprint towards the border of Yuzhou. The target seems to be our army's numerous cities in Yuzhou. The messenger ran in panting to report. What? How could Zhang Yan be so arrogant? Yuan Shao was already extremely angry about Cao Cao's incident. The sudden news of Zhang Yan's attack on the territory is now raging with anger. Lord, most of our army's cities in Yuzhou were obtained from the recent attack on Gongsun Zan. The human heart has not yet surrendered. If suddenly attacked by Zhang Yan, I'm afraid those wall grass will immediately switch sides. Moreover, Zhang Yan's picture may not be as simple as capturing cities and territories. It's been a long time since Gongsun Zan moved to the capital city of Yi that he hasn't taken the initiative to attack again. Zhang Yan's move may be to coordinate with Gongsun Zan internally and externally, forming an encirclement of our army. Zhou Yu stood up and analyzed. This statement has also been recognized by almost all Yuaning strategists. Gongsun Zan and Yuan Shao have been fighting each other for a full 5 years. If Gongsun Zan were to seize the opportunity to counterattack, Yuan Shao's previous hard work would probably be in vain. Moreover, Zhang Yan is not an easy guy to deal with. The Black Mountain Thief is nicknamed Dai Jia Million. Although it contains a huge amount of water, it is still easy to gather 100,000 young adults. This is not the most terrifying place for Black Mountain bandits. What made Yuan Shao feel the most tricky was that the Taihang Mountains span across the 3 major provinces of Bingzhou, Jizhou, and Yuzhou. The Black Mountain bandits have been entrenched in the Taihang Mountains for years, and it was extremely difficult for the Yuan army to encircle and suppress them. On the contrary, under the leadership of Zhang Yan, the Black Mountain bandits were able to attack large areas of territory under Yuan Shaoji like ghosts and spirits. For Yuan Shao, Zhang Yan is simply a tumor that is difficult to remove. Lord, if we allow Zhang Yan and Gongsun Zan to join forces, the good situation that our army has worked hard to achieve may be destroyed in an instant. Zhou Yu and others strongly advised. Helpless, Yuan Shao could only let out a long sigh and snorted coldly. Damn Cao Amon, I'll let you live a little longer. I'll go south to deal with you once I solve the 2 calamities of Zhang Yan and Gongsun Zan. Upon hearing these words, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Only Tian Feng and Zhu Shou had a worried expression and furrowed brows. Cao Cao has gradually become the climate, and will only become stronger in the future. However, there were numerous unresolved conflicts within the Yuan army. If this goes on for a long time, I'm afraid we will eventually lose to Cao Cao, as stated on the ranking list. Wanqing Zhang Xiu, dressed in black armor, sat opposite Jia Su. Mr. Wenhe, how do you view the matter on the list of top commanders? Zhang Xiu spoke with a slightly nervous expression. During the previous inventory check, Zhang Xiu paid close attention to the entire process and did not miss any details. When he saw that he would defeat Cao Cao in Wanqing next year, he couldn't help but feel happy. However, later on, we saw the decisive battle between Cao Cao and Yuan Shao at Guandu. This undoubtedly made Zhang Xiu feel very uneasy. As for the upcoming Battle of Red Cliffs, Xiu couldn't hold her back any longer. This is so special. By the 13th year of Jianan, Cao Cao would have unified the world. Where will Zhang Xiu be then? If Cao Cao was a person who would repay his grievances, wouldn't Zhang Xiu, who defeated Cao Cao in Wanqing, definitely be punished? Zhang Xiu panicked, he was afraid. Quickly bring Jia Su over and ask what to do next. Looking at Zhang Xiu with an anxious expression in front of him, Jia Su shook his head slightly. Sure enough, this embroidery, as he expected, did not have the heroic posture of dominating the world. And Cao Cao, as Jia Su had anticipated, would become the most likely person to unify the world in the future. When Jia Su first saw the ranking list, he actually felt very uneasy in his heart. After all, in this chaotic world, human life is like grass. Even if he is extremely clever, he doesn't know how long he will live. People should always consider themselves more. After finishing the inventory, Jia Su felt 1,000 emotions in his heart. Even considering whether to abandon Zhang Xiu directly and surrender to Cao Cao instead. But after careful consideration, Jia Su temporarily gave up on this idea. The emergence of rankings is bound to have an extremely serious impact on the world. But above that, after all, most things still haven't happened. The future can be changed, and the current situation is not yet clear. Making a decision too early, if you make the wrong choice, won't you end up crying without a place to cry? And now, seeing Zhang Xiu's uncontrollable appearance, Jia Su became even more determined in his heart not to act recklessly. I saw him comforting Zhang Xiu by saying, "My lord, there's no need to worry. Many of the things on the ranking list haven't happened yet. It's better to wait for the situation to become clear before making further plans." Okay. I listened to Mr. Wen. Zhang Xiu nodded slightly. He is not a person with a strong personality, and he trusts Jia Su extremely. The emergence of the ranking list has completely eliminated Xiu's already limited opinions. He had originally thought about whether to quickly get along with Yuan Shao to prevent him from being liquidated when he went south in the future. And now, this idea dissipated completely with the emergence of the leaderboard. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Sun Tzu shocked. You lead 100,000 army. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Just as various feudal lords reacted, a new change appeared on the ranking list in the sky. Peak Commander ranking, 28th place, Ling Tong. Ling Tong, also known as Gong Jin, was from Yuhang. Wujuan father Ling Chao followed Sun Quan to conquer Jiangxia in the 8th year of Jianan. Ling Chao's light boat was the first to enter Xiakou and defeat the enemy's vanguard, but unfortunately was shot and killed by Huang Zu's general Gan Ning. Ling Tong was only 15 years old at the time, and was promoted by Sun Quan to the position of Sima of another department. In the same year, he was also promoted to the position of captain of the Breaking Thieves, replacing his father Ling Chao to lead the soldiers during his lifetime in the Battle of Pingding Mountain in Vietnam. Ling Tong bravely took the lead and made great contributions, thus gaining the trust of Sun Quan in the early 13th year of Jianan. Sun Quan once again attacked Jiangxia. Ling Tong went on an expedition with the army, serving as a vanguard and defeating the enemy to capture the city. Before the arrival of the main force in this battle, Ling Tong was promoted to the rank of lieutenant general for his meritorious service, officially becoming one of the high-level generals in Jiangdong in the same year. Ling Tong fought fiercely in Chibi and made great contributions in the 20th year of Jianan. Ling Tong followed LV Meng to seize the 3 counties of Jingnan. But the battle had just ended and he was hastily transferred to the front line of Hefei. I thought this battle would be extremely easy, but heaven played a big joke on Ling Tong in this battle. Sun Quan led 100,000 troops to attack Hefei, where the defending army was less than 7,000. During the battle, Sun Quan encountered a surprise attack, his life hanging on the line, and his 100,000-strong army instantly collapsed. In times of crisis, stand up ahead of others. When the leaderboard reaches this point, the screen suddenly transitions, reflected in the eyes of the feudal lords. Sun Quan, who was riding a purple purebred horse, and Ling Tong, who was walking on foot, stood out. Ling Tong in the picture has a handsome appearance and an agile figure. In my gaze, everything is resolute. And Sun Quan, at this moment, was biting his lips tightly, his eyes filled with anxiety and panic. Even the purple pure horse below felt the extreme unease on the lord's body, appearing extremely irritable. Gong Jin, the pursuers are about to be killed. What should I do? Sun Quan spoke up and asked Ling Tong. Don't panic, my lord. I still have 300 soldiers under my command, which can protect my lord's safety. However, Ling Tong's words did not end. Not far away, the sound of galloping hooves accompanied by the shouts of the soldiers came with a loud bang. Brothers, charge me. Capture the blue-eyed child alive. Those who catch blue-eyed children will be promoted to level 5 and granted the title of 1000 Household Marquis. Although the features of the general responsible for pursuing cannot be clearly seen. But those who watch the leaderboard footage all feel the danger of the situation from it. Ling Tong's biological father Ling Chao clenched his fist in an instant of urgency. With just one glance, he had already recognized the adult duo in the playback screen of the leaderboard, which was his future son. At the same time, Ling Chao is also a seasoned warrior. Seeing this scene, how can one not guess the story that will happen next? In the picture, Sun Quan is left with only a few personal guards, as well as Ling Tong and 300 Ling family soldiers. If we want to protect him from leaving, the only way is for Ling Tong and Ling Jiajun to sacrifice themselves. As expected, I saw the perspective in the ranking list switch again and shift to Ling Tong. Looking at the approaching pursuers, Ling Tong looked up at the bright and white moonlight, silently making a last wish in my heart. After bidding farewell to Sun Quan, he resolutely led the 300 Ling family army and went to kill the pursuers. Seeing this scene, viewers outside the leaderboard all sigh silently. Ling Chao, an 8-foot-long strong man, couldn't help but shed tears. Although Ling Chao learned from the ranking list of Ling Tong that he would die in the battle to attack Jiangxia 7 years later. But he himself is not afraid of death. As a military general, Ling Chao had long had the consciousness of wrapping himself in a horse's clothing. But now, seeing the dangerous situation that his future son would encounter, Ling Chao couldn't help it anymore. As a father, how can one tolerate such scenes? And Sun Su glared fiercely at Sun Quan, who had just been summoned by him. How was this special battle fought? A 100,000 strong army attacked Hefei, where the number of defenders was less than 7,000, and they were chased like this. Even a pig cannot achieve such a defeat, can it? Besides, 7,000 defenders cannot all leave the city, and a large number of people and horses will still be left to guard the city. The number of people who can truly pursue Sun Quan may not exceed 1/3. In such a situation, one can be beaten like this. If it weren't for Sun Su knowing that Sun Quan was the biological child of his father Sun Jian, he would probably have doubted at this moment whether Sun Quan had picked it up from the trash can. Lao Sun's family can't afford to lose this person. My father Sun Jian has always claimed that they are part of the Sun family, inherited from the military sage Sun Wu. After Sun Quan's embarrassing incident. Don't be such a special soldier, Sun Wu. Even if you randomly find a general to fight this battle in Jiangdong, I'm afraid you can't be so shameful. P.S. This type is very niche and difficult to write about, considering many factors and relative objectivity. I'm not sure if I'm in a single-player state, but I hope that the readers who have read it will be more handsome than the readers. Can you please support me by throwing flowers, or let me know in the comments section that you have read it. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.